There is a handbag on the market right now that costs $2,200, and it is quietly adding 10 years to the women who carry it. There is another bag, structured, full grain, made in the same workshops as houses that charge 4 times more, and it sells for under $300. One of these reads as money. The other reads as someone trying to look like money. And here is the part nobody tells you. The expensive one is the problem. We have been trained to believe that a higher price tag means a more flattering bag. It does not, believe it or not. After 50, the bag on your shoulder is doing something most women never think about. It is either signaling settled, established, quietly confident taste, or it is signaling that you are chasing a trend that moved on without you. That signal has almost nothing to do with what you paid. It has everything to do with 4 things: the shape, the hardware, the leather, and the proportion. Get those 4 right, and a $200 bag can make you look like the most put-together woman in the room. Get them wrong, and a designer logo bag can age you faster than a bad haircut. So before we get to a single brand, let me hand you the exact standard we are going to judge all 15 of these bags by. Once you understand these 4 tests, you will never look at a handbag the same way again, and you will catch the aging bags on the shelf before you ever bring one home. The first test is structure. Pick the bag up and look at whether it holds its own shape or collapses into a sad puddle when you set it down. A structured bag, one that stands on its own, reads as intentional and polished. A slouchy, shapeless bag can absolutely work, but only when the leather is good enough to drape with weight and richness. The problem is the middle ground. Bags made from thin, coated material that neither holds a crisp shape nor drapes beautifully. They just sag, losing all of their intentional structure. That sag is one of the fastest ways a bag starts to look cheap and tired, no matter the brand stamped on the front. The second test is hardware. Look at the metal. Is it cheap or refined? Is it oversized, mirror shiny, gold-plated, and covered in a logo? Or is it subtle, weighted, and finished in a softer tone? Large, flashy, heavily branded hardware is the single most aging detail in modern handbags. It shouts, and shouting is what reads as insecure as trying too hard. And shouting is what reads as insecure as trying too hard to look like money. The most expensive-looking bags in the world tend to whisper. Brushed gold, matte silver, a clasp you have to look twice to even notice. When the hardware calms down, the whole bag grows up. The third test is the leather itself, and this is where the real money hides. You want to hear 2 words? Full grain. Full grain leather is the top layer of the hide with its natural surface left intact. It is the strongest, most breathable part, and it develops a rich patina as it ages, meaning it gets better looking over years of use. The opposite of that is coated, corrected, or bonded leather. Corrected grain leather has been sanded down to hide flaws and sprayed with a plastic-like finish. Bonded leather is essentially leather scraps glued together with a binder. Both look fine in the store under good lighting on day 1. Then 6 months in, the coating starts to crack and peel. An appealing plastic-looking bag is one of the most aging objects a person can carry. The leather grade is not a luxury detail, it's a quality standard. It is the difference between a bag that improves with you and a bag that falls apart on you. The fourth test is proportion. A bag has to relate to your frame. A bag has to relate to your frame in a way that looks balanced. An enormous slouchy tote can overwhelm a smaller woman and read as heavy and dated, while a tiny micro bag can look like you borrowed it from a teenager. The bags that flatter a woman over 50 tend to live in the sensible middle, structured and medium. Proportion is quiet, but the eye notices it instantly when it is right. Structure, hardware, leather, proportion. 4 tests. 4 tests, and you can run all 4 in about 15 seconds standing in any store. Hold those 4 in your mind, because we are about to watch real bags pass and fail them. And we are not starting with the winners. We start with the ones to avoid. We are starting with the 5 bags that are working against you right now in your closet. Let's start with the worst offender, because it is also the most expensive, and that is exactly the point. You know the one. It's a billboard for the brand. It is covered corner to corner in a repeating brand monogram costing thousands. Here is the part the price tag hides. Most of these bags are not leather at all. They are coated canvas, fabric sprayed with a plastic-like coating. That coating is durable in the short term and light to carry. But 2 things work against you, and they're significant. First, that coating can crack and peel after a few years of real use. Second, a wall of repeating logos is the single loudest thing you can wear. It reads as branded rather than refined. Choose quality instead. The woman who looks expensive is almost never the woman whose bag shouts a logo. Swap it for a single-color structured leather tote and you'll instantly look better. Number 2 is the Trend Cycle It bag from 18 months ago. The problem is not that it is badly made, it's the timing. The problem is timing. A bag that screams a specific season dates you. A bag that screams a specific season is a billboard for when you bought it. Trend bags also tend to lose resale value the fastest. A classic structured silhouette in a calm color does the opposite. It stays current. It sits outside the calendar entirely, which is why it keeps looking current. Number 3 is the cheap, ultra-glossy patent or heavily coated crossbody. The high-shine plastic finish catches light and immediately signals low cost. A coated bag starts showing real cracking within 2 to 5 years. There is a real cost to that when you have to replace it. She spent more than $800 and had nothing left to show for it. Cheap is expensive when you have to buy it again and again. Before we go further, pause and look at your own collection while this is fresh. How many of these are sitting in your closet right now? Be honest. Be honest with yourself, because that honesty is what we want to reward. Number 4 is the oversized slouchy hobo in thin, unstructured bonded leather. Bonded leather sounds like leather, and that is the trick. It is actually leather scraps ground up and glued together. Because it is flimsy and shapeless, it collapses into a droopy mass. That collapsed, formless look is deeply aging. It reads as tired. It reads as tired, like the bag gave up halfway through the day. The answer is to buy that slouch in genuine, soft, full-grain leather. Number 5 is the opposite mistake, the tiny trend micro bag. On a younger woman chasing a viral look, it can read as playful. Carried by a grown woman, it tends to read as borrowed or trying too hard. It is also simply impractical, and fumbling is its own quiet signal. Proportion is one of our 4 tests, and the micro bag fails it. The flattering zone is the structured small to medium bag that fits your frame. So that is the avoid list, and notice the thread running through all 5. Not one of them failed because it was cheap, and the most aging bag of the group was also the most expensive. They failed on the 4 tests: weak structure, loud hardware, bonded leather, and bad proportion. Which means the inverse is also true. A bag can be affordable and still pass every test. A bag can be remarkably affordable and still pass every single test, which is where this gets fun. We are counting up from the strong recommendations to the very best. At number 10 is Longchamp, and specifically the Le Pliage in its leather version. The brand has been around since 1948, which is why it gets overlooked. The leather Le Pliage and the Roseau line are made from genuine cowhide, restrained hardware, and a shape that folds flat and holds up to use. You can find the leather styles in the $300 to $500 range. The nylon version, while indestructible, does read as casual and a touch dated. Pick that, and you are carrying something quietly correct that almost nobody will guess the price of. Number 9 is Cuyana, the brand built on a simple promise: fewer, better things. Cuyana is for the woman who values fewer, better things. Their totes and system bags are made from premium Italian leather sourced from Tuscan tanneries, with no external logos and a clean, minimal silhouette. A Cuyana leather tote typically lands in the $200 to $400 zone, depending on size and style, and the pebbled leather in particular hides daily scuffs beautifully, which matters for a bag you actually use. The honest caveat is that the minimalism is the whole personality. If you want detail, hardware, or a bag that turns heads, this is not it. But if you want a piece that disappears into every outfit and always looks intentional, Cuyana is one of the smartest entries on this entire list, and the lack of a logo is the point, not a flaw. Number 8 is DeMellier, a female-founded London brand, and the bag to know is the Vancouver, which sits just under $500. This is a small structured crossbody in smooth cowhide with an elegant gold double bar detail, and it transitions from a workday to dinner without missing a step. What sets DeMellier apart is transparency. The brand documents its materials and manufacturing in real detail rather than hiding behind vague luxury language, which is exactly the kind of thing this channel rewards. Now, here are 2 honest caveats that every buyer should keep in mind. The smooth leather finish can pick up scratches, though a leather cream usually buffs them out, and several owners report the gold hardware tarnishing over time, so keep the protective cover on when it sits in your closet. Even with those notes, a structured $500 leather bag that reads far more expensive is a genuine win. Number 7 is Strathberry, the British brand handcrafted in Spain, and it earns its place through one specific thing, that signature bar closure. It is the rare piece of hardware that makes a bag instantly recognizable without a single visible logo. which is precisely the trick the loud monogram totes from our avoid list fail to pull off. The leather is structured and polished, the silhouettes lean formal and feminine, and prices generally run from the upper hundreds into the four-figure range depending on the style. The caveat worth naming is price creep at the top of the line, where you start bumping into entry-level heritage luxury territory, so the value is strongest in the brand's smaller and mid-tier pieces. Choose well within the range, and you get a bag that looks dressed up and deliberate, which is exactly the register that flatters a woman who already knows who she is. Number 6 is Mansour Gavriel, the brand that built its name on the bucket bag and a philosophy of letting vegetable-tanned leather speak for itself. Vegetable-tanned simply means the leather is treated using natural plant tannins instead of harsh chemicals, a slower, older method that produces a firm, honest leather that ages into a beautiful patina rather than cracking. Their bags typically run in the $400 to $700 range, carry no external branding, and rely entirely on shape and material quality. The honest caveat is that raw, vegetable-tanned leather, especially in lighter colors, is sensitive early on and can stain before it develops its protective patina, so the lighter styles ask for a little care in the first months. But that same leather is what makes the bag look richer in year 5 than it did on day 1, which is the exact opposite of everything on our avoid list. Notice what these 5 share. No external logos, real leather you can name the type of restrained, recognizable hardware, and prices that mostly sit under what a single coated canvas logo tote costs. Every one of them passes the 4 tests. And yet none of them is quite the strongest play on this list, because the top 5 is where the bags stop being merely smart purchases and start being the kind of pieces that hold their value, turn quiet heads, and genuinely read as established taste. That is where we go next, and the bag at number 1 is one almost no one expects. Now we reach the top 5, the bags that stop being merely smart and start being the kind of pieces that quietly signal you have arrived and have nothing left to prove. At number 5 is the Loewe Puzzle bag. Loewe is a Spanish house founded in 1846, and its leather goods are crafted in Spain by some of the best leatherworkers in the world. The puzzle is instantly recognizable for its geometric, almost origami-like construction, and crucially, it carries no loud logo at all. It earns its recognition through shape and craft alone, which is the entire lesson of this video in a single bag. It is not cheap, with most styles landing in the $3,000 to $4,000 range. But here is the investment logic. The puzzle has held roughly 93% of its retail value on the resale market, and demand has been climbing fast year over year. That means a large part of what you spend is recoverable later. The honest caveat is that the artistic, sculptural shape is a statement, and it will not be to everyone's taste, so this is a bag you buy because you genuinely love the design, not because you are told to. Number 4 is Bottega Veneta, and specifically the woven intrecciato pieces like the Andiamo or the Jodi. Bottega's entire philosophy is summed up in its old line, "When your own initials are enough, there is no logo anywhere." The recognition comes purely from that hand-woven leather weave, which began as a practical way to reinforce supple leather and became the brand's signature. That weave is not just pretty, it makes the leather genuinely more durable, resisting the bending and stress that destroys lesser bags. The investment case is striking. The Andiamo recently posted a 300% jump in year-over-year resale demand and continues selling for around 90% of its original retail. Entry pieces start around $2,500 and climb from there, which is the real caveat, alongside the fact that this is firmly a save-up purchase rather than an impulse one. But for logoless, quiet, recognizable luxury, very little competes. Number 3 is the Row, the quiet luxury house that has become the ultimate insider signal precisely because almost no one outside the know recognizes it. The Margaux in particular has become a modern classic, valued for impeccable structure, the finest leathers, and a complete absence of branding. This is the bag that other wealthy women notice and the rest of the room walks right past, which for a certain kind of buyer is exactly the appeal. It sits at the very top of the price range here, often well into 4 and even 5 figures, and that is the honest caveat. This is aspirational in the truest sense, a bag most people admire rather than buy. But it belongs on this list because it represents the purest expression of the principle that taste, not logos, is what reads as real wealth. Number 2 is the Chanel Classic Flap, and here we move fully into investment territory. Chanel has raised prices on the Classic Flap relentlessly, often 8 to 12% a year, and that strategy has a strange side effect that benefits buyers. Because tomorrow's retail price is always higher, a well-kept flap bought today tends to hold or exceed its value, frequently retaining well over 100% in classic caviar leather. Caviar, by the way, is Chanel's grained pebbled calfskin, and it is far more durable and scratch-resistant than the delicate smooth lambskin, which is the single most important thing to know before buying one. The caveats are real and worth stating plainly. The price is genuinely high, and lambskin in particular is fragile and shows wear quickly. Buy the flap in caviar, in a classic color, and you are buying one of the closest things fashion has to a blue-chip asset. And at number 1, the bag almost no one expects at the top, the Hermès Birkin or Kelly, but specifically through the entry door most people overlook, the Evelyne or the Picotin. Everyone fixates on the Birkin, which has averaged double-digit annual appreciation for decades and routinely resells above retail. But the smartest move on this entire list is the lesser-known Hermès. The Evelyne crossbody typically holds 85 to 95% of its value, and the Picotin bucket holds 80 to 90, at a fraction of a Birkin's cost and without the years-long waitlist games. These are the bags that quietly carry the full weight of Hermès craftsmanship and resale strength while flying completely under the radar. The honest caveat is that even the entry Hermès pieces are a serious financial commitment, and the brand's allocation culture can make some styles frustrating to obtain. But if the question is which bag reads as the most established taste while protecting your money the best, the answer is a quiet Hermès, not a loud anything. So that is the full count, from the overlooked value plays to the blue-chip investment pieces. Every single one of them, from the $300 Longchamp to the Birkin, won on the exact same 4 tests. And the bags that lost did so on those same 4 tests too. Which means the real conclusion of this video is not a brand name at all. It is a way of seeing, and once you have it, you will never be fooled by a price tag again. Step back and look at the full lineup, the 15 bags together, and the most important pattern in this entire video reveals itself. Price predicted almost nothing. It's often a false indicator. The single most aging bag we found was also the most expensive, a logo-covered coated canvas tote running well over $2,000. And one of the smartest, most flattering picks was a leather Longchamp you can find for around $300. If price were the signal, those two facts could not coexist. So price is not the signal, it's about the quality markers. And in fact, it never was. It was never the true signal. What actually separated the winners from the agers were the 4 tests, and they are worth burning into memory because you can run all 4 in 15 seconds in any store. Structure. Does the bag hold its shape or collapse into a tired puddle? Hardware. Is the metal calm and subtle, or loud, oversized and logo stamped? These 4 tests are worth burning into memory. Leather. Is it full grain or top grain that ages into a richer patina, or is it coated, corrected, or bonded material that cracks and peels within a few years? And proportion. Does the bag relate to your frame, sitting in that flattering small to medium zone? Or does it overwhelm you as an oversized slouch or shrink you as a tiny micro bag? Every bag that aged its owner failed at least one of those tests. These are the ones that work too hard. Every bag worth buying passed all 4. There is a deeper logic underneath the 4 tests, and it is almost philosophical. The bags that aged people were the ones working hard to look expensive. The loud logos, the trend-chasing shapes, the high-shine plastic finishes. The bags that flattered were the ones with nothing to prove. No external branding, leather left to speak for itself, recognition earned through craft instead of stamped on in monograms. After 50, that distinction is everything, because confidence does not announce itself. The most expensive-looking woman in any room is almost never the one whose bag is shouting. She is the one whose bag is quietly, unmistakably correct. A vision of elegance. Now the honest caveats, because this channel does not sell fantasies. Not every bag on the good list is right for every person. The minimalist picks like Cuyana and the Row offer no detail or drama, and if you love a bit of personality on your arm, they will feel plain to you. The smooth leather styles like the DeMellier Vancouver scratch more easily than pebbled grain, and several owners report the gold hardware tarnishing, so they ask for a little care. The vegetable tanned bags stain in their early life before the patina protects them. The investment pieces, Chanel, Bottega, Hermès, require real money up front, and resale value, however strong historically, is never a guarantee. And buying secondhand to access those names means authentication matters enormously. Responsibility is key. None of these bags is perfect. The point was never perfection. It was about knowing what you have. The point was knowing exactly what you are paying for and exactly what you are getting. Knowing your worth. If you take only one thing from all of this, let it be this: stop letting the price tag do your thinking. A logo is not craftsmanship. Craftsmanship is earned. A high price is not quality. It is often just a number. A trend is not taste. It's often just noise. The next time you stand in front of a beautiful bag, run the 4 tests before you fall in love. It is essential. Check the structure. Does it hold up or collapse? Check the hardware. Verify the weight and finish. Check the leather grade. Feel the quality for yourself. Check the proportion against your own frame. Look closely. Do that, and you will buy fewer bags, spend your money far more wisely, and look more put together doing it, which is the whole game. Here is what I want to know from you. And be specific in the comments. Let's start a conversation. Of all 15 bags we covered today, which one genuinely surprised you the most? Was it the expensive logo tote landing at the very top of the avoid list? The $300 Longchamp earning a spot among the best? Or the quiet Hermès Evelyne beating the Birkin as the single smartest buy? Tell me the one that flipped how you think, and tell me which bag on the good list you would actually carry. I read these, and the answers always reveal who has truly started seeing past the price tag. Thank you for watching.